Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. Today I wanted to share with you some of my thoughts on my beautiful Epiphone Les Paul Matt Heafy Origins Custom. Let's check it out. Alright, welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel everybody. Allow me just a second to introduce myself. My name is DJ. I'm a guitarist from the southwest of the UK. I've been playing guitar for about 20 years and I'm still kind of fresh and baby-faced on this whole YouTube thing. This is only like video 6 or 5 I think. I'm kind of losing count at this point, which is a good thing because it means I'm pumping out videos, which is really cool and it's really what I wanted. Before we go any further, I just wanted to say that if you go on to enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate it if you wanted to hit that subscribe button. It's a brand new YouTube channel that I'm trying to grow. I'd love to hit like 100 followers by April time. That'd be wicked. I'm trying to grow it so we can have a little community of guitar nerds and chug nerds here on YouTube. I know there's a million billion other guitar channels on the internet and on YouTube already, but it's something that I've always wanted to give a go. And so if you wanted to come along for the ride, then that would be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. I just wanted to mention as well that all thoughts and opinions in this video are my own. This isn't a sponsored video in any way. This is my guitar that I own and I bought kind of with my own money. It was a trade, but that still counts. So yeah, everything in this video is my own. Anyway, let's check it out together. Throughout this video, you're going to be hearing all the tones coming straight from the Soldano SLO Neural DSP plugin. It's going to be going straight from my guitar into my Focusrite Solo interface, into GarageBand, and in GarageBand, I've got the SLO plugin loaded up. And these are all just custom patches that I've made myself. Now, usually I like to break my videos down into positives and negatives with the different guitars and amps and whatever that I'm reviewing, but this one's kind of tricky because, to be completely honest, this guitar has way more negatives than it does positives for me. Everything is just personal opinion. It's all just personal to me. There's absolutely nothing from a QC perspective wrong with this guitar. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it from like a fit and finish or hardware perspective. The only thing I had to do when I got it was there was some high frets, so I had to go off to my luthier to have those fixed, but otherwise it was in amazing condition. So I've had this guitar now for around about a year. I got it in a trade with a chap on Facebook Marketplace. I traded this for my Solar A 2.7LN guitar, trying to remember all the codes, and I traded it for this along with a Yamaha, like an old Yamaha THR 10X practice amp that I didn't use anymore. Amazing amplifier. Kind of wish I still had it, but equally I didn't really use it. Anyway, back to this one. So this guitar I've had for about a year, so I can't massively comment on how it was when it was brand new, but when it came to me, like I said, the fit and finish was really good. The only thing that I had to have done, like I mentioned, was get some high frets hammered in. I don't know how the last guy that had it for as long as he did without hammering those frets in, but you know, maybe he just didn't notice, or maybe it just didn't bother him. So everything I'm about to say, when I say about like things that are wrong with this guitar, it's all just personal. It's all just preference stuff that like I don't like. And like I was saying, this guitar probably has more things I don't like than that I do like. But as we'll find out at the end of the video, somehow all those things that I don't like actually kind of make it the reason why I love it so much. Let's check out some more tones now and I'll kind of explain a bit more. Alright, Right, before we go any further, let's check out some specifications for this guitar. So we have got a mahogany body with a maple top. It's got 7-ply binding on the top and 5-ply binding on the headstock with single-ply binding around the fretboard, which looks super classy. It's got modern weight relief, a slim tapered D neck with a 25.5-inch scale length, an ebony fingerboard and a 12-inch fretboard radius. The neck material is mahogany and there's 22 medium jumbo nickel frets. We've got a Graphtec nut with a nut width of 48mm or 1.889 inches with custom block inlays, and it's a glued in set neck with a modern contoured heel. With it, we have got a 7-string Tune-o-matic, a 7-string stop bar tailpiece. It's got Grover locking mini Rotomatic tuners with tulip buttons, a 2-way adjustable truss rod, a 2-ply bell Les Paul MKH Origins custom truss rod cover. We've got black knurled metal knobs to adjust the volume and tone. It also came with these 2 gold Posi lock strap buttons as well, which I've now removed, and it's got shallow strap locks on, as per my preference. Pickup wise, we've got Fishman Fluence MKH Fluence Alnico in the neck and Fishman MKH Fluence ceramic in the bridge. 2 volumes, 2 tones with push-pull coil splits and voicing on the volume and tone parts. A 3-way Epiphone toggle switch, and it was meant to come with a custom hard case. However, the guy that I got it from didn't have it and apparently never got it, although I definitely don't believe him. Alright, with the specs out of the way, let's have a look at the things that I really don't like about this guitar, why I don't like them about this guitar, but also why it just doesn't matter at all, because it's such a killer instrument. The frets, they're not very big. This is based, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but I believe this is based on Matt's original Les Paul that he had from when he was a kid, for his original Les Paul custom. So they don't come with like super modern, jumbo, mega fancy frets. They're just kind of normal frets. They're just kind of run of the mill, not particularly big, a medium jumbo compared to what you get on like modern ESPs and Schecters and things. They're not particularly big. They're nickel as well, and I'd say they're quite a soft nickel, especially because I'm used to playing on stainless steel, like on my Legator and on my Schecter. They have stainless steel frets. These, for some reason, feel quite soft. That's not a positive, it's not a negative. It's just the way they kind of feel. Maybe you know what I mean, maybe you don't. Who knows? What we're talking about in the neck and the frets, there's only 22 of them, which for most people I'm sure is absolutely fine, but I am someone who does like a full 2-octave range on my guitars. On every other one of my guitars, on my 7-string guitars, there's a 2-octave range, and I really like having 24 frets to play with. That's just my personal preference. Again, it still rips, it still sounds killer, but I do find that when I'm getting up to the top end and the widdly widdlies, which I don't massively do on this one because of the heel joint, which we'll come to, but yeah, I do kind of find that I'm missing those next 2 frets right at the top of the fretboard. But you know, there's workarounds, there's other ways we can get around the fretboard. So, flipping over the guitar, we can get to the next thing I don't like about this guitar, which is the neck. The neck is gloss. I don't like gloss necks. I've never liked gloss necks. I don't know why any guitar in the whole world has a gloss neck. It's sticky, it slows you down, it creates friction when you got sweaty hands or hot hands, when you're on stage and stuff. It creates a barrier between you and the main point of contact of the guitar. Again, it's just my personal opinion. But I'm not a fan, so I fixed it. I sanded it down. I sanded down the neck on the back of this guitar. I started with 120 grit sandpaper, wet and dry paper, and I took it all the way up in stages incrementally to 600 grit, as you can see in the video that I'm overlaying now, and it is so much nicer to play now for me. I love a satin neck or a matte neck or like a natural wood finish neck. Absolutely love it, and this to me is so much nicer to play than it was before. I absolutely adore this neck, way more than I did before. Shape wise, it's comfortable. I got no qualms. It's really nice. You know, the slim taper D, it's great. It's lovely to play. Moving on. What we're talking about in the neck, This heel joint is a nice effort by Epiphone and Gibson to make it feel a bit more modern, but it is still chunky. So when you are playing in that upper register, it does feel a little bit restrictive. You've really got to wrap your hands around that top end of the neck to get your hands up real high. It's doable, it's just not as comfortable as like on my Solar or my Schecter or my Legator or my PRS, where they're just that much more accessible. This is the least accessible neck out of all the guitars that I've got. It's fine, it's okay, it's just a big old chunky joint that you've got there. Better than like a traditional joint for sure, but it's still not as fast as like a tapered neck would be. With all those negatives, there's definitely a lot of positives as well. The pickups are amazing. They absolutely rip. They're so good. They're super clear. They've got loads of clarity. Very articulate. I use that word a lot on this channel, but they really are. There's a lot of detail to the noises and the sounds that you make. You've got endless options with all the button configurations, with the push-pulls, with the vintage, with the modern, with the single coil, with the different pickup configurations. There's so much you can do tonally on this. I tend to set this just to modern humbucker most of the time. I do suffer with option paralysis when I'm presented with too many options, so I tend to just go, do you know what? Let's just leave it as it is. But it is nice to have those options there, especially like when we've been in the studio. I recorded the majority of our debut EP with this guitar. It sounded amazing, and there's some clean sections that we used, like the vintage PAF sound rather than the modern sound. There's a couple of sections where we went to split coils as well, and it just sounded so good. Modern weight relief is a really nice little feature. Les Pauls can be heavy. This was my main guitar when we went on tour last autumn, and it was absolutely fine every night on stage. Didn't bother me at all. No backache, no issues lugging it in and out of the van and stuff like that. It was all good. It was fine. Some people would argue that it doesn't sound the same, but it is what it is. That's how this guitar in particular sounds, chambered or not. It sounds wicked. I think it sounds so good, and it's not super duper heavy. Still got a bit of weight to it, but it's not ridiculously heavy. Another really cool thing I like about this guitar is, although it's a signature model, it's not like a super obvious signature model. It's not like it's got Matt's name plastered all over it. It doesn't have like the Trivium logos plastered all over it. The headstock, like the truss rod cover, doesn't say Matt Heafy. It doesn't say Trivium. It says Les Paul. MKH Origins Custom. It does say MKH on it. But I have the groove gear over the groove gear. I have the groove gear fret wrap over the top of it so you can't see it. Anyway, the only things that you've got is that little MKH and you've got his signature on the back of the headstock as well. Otherwise, it's not super obvious that it's a signature guitar, and I like that. It's the reason I love this and my Mark Holcomb PRS SVN as well. I think that's probably everything I've got to say about this guitar. I mean, even though it's got small frets, it doesn't matter. Even though they're nickel frets and not stainless steel, it doesn't matter. Even though it's got the gloss neck, it doesn't matter. even though it's got that big old heel joint. It doesn't matter. This is such a sick guitar. It looks beautiful. It was my main guitar last year in the studio and live, and I absolutely love playing it. And as you hopefully have heard through the sound samples in this video, it sounds killer. It sounds so good. It sounds really, really good. The other thing that's worth mentioning about this guitar is it is a 7-string and it's got a 25.5-inch scale, which most people would probably say is too short for a 7-string guitar. However, I kind of like it. I kind of like how it feels. Now, I have this loaded with D'Addario NYXL 11 to 64 strings. My favorite strings. I've used them on everything. I've used them for years. They're really reliable. I like the way they feel. I like the way that they sound. I've tried other brands. D'Addario just seems to tick all the boxes for me. The only negative on this guitar compared to my other guitars is that sometimes, being that it's got that shorter scale length, sometimes we're playing like the low string, which we tune to drop A, where there's slightly less tension than say with a 26.5-inch scale or bigger, or longer rather, you occasionally slip off the top of the fretboard where there's that little bit less tension. I don't really get it with any of my other guitars, but I have to be a tiny bit more conscious with this one not to slip off the top of the fretboard when I'm fretting the low string. I almost have to pull it into the guitar a little bit and just be a little bit more careful. I don't so much get that with my longer scale length guitars, but that's kind of the only time I notice that slightly shorter scale length. Otherwise, I think it's really comfortable and not massively noticeable. So that's it. That is my Epiphone Les Paul Matt Heafy Origins custom guitar. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you think of this guitar. Have you tried one? Have you played one? Do you own one? Have you tried the 6-string version? Because I haven't, and I'd be really interested to, because I think that's got a traditional Les Paul scale length. I imagine it feels a little bit different to this. Let me know in the comments below and we'll have a conversation. I'll catch up with you down there, and hopefully I'll chat to you very soon. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Take care until next time. In a bit.